Okay, it's now wanting us to select the cells I14 and I30, and it's wanting us to use a watch window to watch changes. So we go to the the formula tab, watch window, add watch. As we've already got those cells selected, we can click add. However, I have noticed an error. It is selecting the cell over here, which we don't want. So we'll just delete that and click on the references again. Click add, and there we go. We can now use this watch window to look at the values changing as we change some of the values later on. So we know that now if we type in a value here, we can see how that affects the total income and the average income for the whole year. Okay, so the next part of the question is wanting us to change some of the values. These values are just in the book. It's decided that the values for sheet 1 between January to June don't correspond to the predicted values or number of units that are going to be sold or performed between July and December. So we've got some new values. Just type these in. There's nothing special about this. You'll notice that these values are higher than the first 6 months. Again, it's not so important why these values are changing. It's just that you've got to recognize that they are. And you'll notice when we were doing that, the values over here in the watch window were changing, probably getting higher. Now that we've seen how to use the watch window, or why we use it basically, you could imagine if the sheet was huge and we couldn't see these values because our screen wasn't big enough, we'd still be able to have a watch window that allowed us to see this information. So it's wanting us to delete the watch and close the window. Okay, part K. Now that we've deleted the watch window, or deleted the watch cells and closed the watch window, wants us to move to J3 and create a new heading. This heading is to be done in the second sheet and it's called year to date. Let's just auto fit that cell. Copy some of the formatting across. Copy it down. Okay. Now we've copied down all the formatting, we're to use a formula that calculates the total from not only the first 6 months, which would be here, but adds that to the second 6 months located here. So in this case, we're going to need to use sheet referencing. Let's use a sum function. We want to select this total, but we also want to sum it with the first sheet as well from the same cell reference. So we can just hold down the shift key and click on the first sheet. And it's now going to sum everything in the first sheet and the second sheet that's in H6. Hit enter, and there we go. Now we can use the fill handle and copy that all the way down. Delete the 0. Copy the formatting. Copy the formatting. In this case, we only want to use the format only. I'm just going to copy the formatting across to all these cells as well. Having some problems with the mouse. Sorry. Drag that across. Formatting only. And let's just make these columns a bit better. There we go. And I'll do the same here. Delete these zeros. And it looks like we're done there. Okay, finally it wants us to delete sheet 3. So we just right click on the sheet, select delete. Wants us to use the find and replace option. Oops, that's located in the home tab. Click find and select replace. Click more options, gives us more control over what we're doing. What we want to find is the term marketing. We want to replace that with advertising. We want to do it within the whole workbook, not just the one sheet. I usually select find all but before replacing it, just to make sure we find what we want. Click find. It tells us yes, there's 2 marketings, 1 in each sheet. That's exactly right, and we want to replace. Done. We can click close. One of the last options now, it wants us to use the goal seek analysis. That's in data under what if analysis. Select goal seek. Now this goal seek is used to allow us to set certain cells to certain values by changing other cells. And this calculates what that cell needs to be if we want to achieve a certain value. So let's have a look. In this case, we want to set cell. Oh, it doesn't tell us the cell name of the book. That's okay. It tells us to increase net income for December, so we can work that out ourselves. So we actually have to go to the second sheet. So net income for December is this cell here. Go to what if analysis, goal seek, that's right, it's G30. Value to change from $9,165 to a $10,000 value. And the cell that we're changing is the full day daycare in December, this value up here. So what we can see is going to happen is we're asking it to tell us what we need to change this cell by in order to make this cell down here be 10,000. Now just keep an eye on that. That cell is now currently 9,165 and this is 402. We click OK. This now becomes 10,000 and this cell up here has become 430. So the goal seeker has found a solution for us. That's good. We click OK. We now want to add a custom header and a footer. So we go to the menu bar, click print preview, go to page setup, go to header and footer, go to custom footer. It doesn't specify where the name and header should be, so in this case I'm just going to put my name in the left section and I'm going to use the insert date option here in the right section. I'm going to click OK, and it's added a footer here for us. One problem I have noticed, which it hasn't seemed to mentioned in the question, is that the page layout is set up as portrait. I think landscape would be more appropriate, so let's just change that. Click close, and we want to fit it to one page. So we go to view, page layout. See, it's splitting over a couple of pages, so to fix that we go back to the page layout tab and change this to page, or to one page, both width and height. So now it'll fit with the header, if there was one, and the footer down the bottom. It asks us to save the workbook, and it tells us to print the second tab. In this case, I'm not going to print it, but now that that's all done, you should be able to now follow through and try and do that. And I do apologise for being so quick, although this video would get quite long and tedious if I did take a bit more time explaining more of the concepts in more detail. If you've got problems, please email me, and you're more than welcome to comment on how I did. Alright, so best of luck, and I'll see you in class next week.